I'm Norman Hallett. I concentrate primarily on the futures market in my everyday trading, but I do have do the same type of analysis for the stocks in my personal portfolio and so on for retirement, etc. So symbols now for there we go. Enter your symbols now. So give me your symbols and we'll take a look. I use TradeStation for the stocks, so I've got that up here for you now. I wanted to while we're collecting the symbols, I think I'm going to make myself disappear here because since I'm an egotist, I don't want to look at myself anyway. I just wanted to mention that my recent passion has been helping traders to pass the prop testing, where there are several firms out there that will, two main ones that I have found that will actually fund you anywhere from a $50,000 account to a $500,000 account. You got to test for it. If you pass the test, you can actually make 90% of the profit right now. I mean, how do they do that? Because they charge you fees along the way while you're testing, and most people don't pass. Same as most traders don't win. So they take advantage of that by continuing to charge testing fees every month. But if you can pass, if you're a pretty good trader, I believe you can make say $9,000 before you lose $5,000. You've got a pretty good chance of being funded. And there's a number of different categories that makes sense for. I want to show you something real quick. If you've got any interest in this, you may want to see where get some signals here. Just collecting some signals. You can scan this right here, or you can take a look at. You go to disciplinedtrader.com /pro-win, which you'll see right here. The disciplinedtrader.com prop win, like in prop trading, prop win. You can download my book. I did a white paper. It's not a book. It's about 4 or 5 pages long. It's not long, but it's very compact on the pros and cons of this concept and why I'm getting more and more passionate about it. I've already passed a few of these tests, and I've already been funded. And I'm trying to teach others how to do that. So this is kind of an interesting, so I wrote a book on a paper on it, and you're certainly welcome to it. So you can scan this scan thing here that I professionally made up myself this morning, or you can go straight to the disciplinedtrader.com /prop-win if you're interested in that. Okay, just wanted to mention that while we're collecting names. And since right now is my official start time, let's see if let me take a look at the chat and see what we have as far as symbols are concerned. I think that's VU. Hi, Silver. VUZI. VUZI. I'm going to put this over here. That looks pretty good right there. VUZI. Vuzix. God knows what that, maybe I'm just out of the loop, but don't know. Now, when I look at these charts, I look at my screen. It's almost laughable until you realize this is probably the best way to trade without all the lines, without all the stuff. I've been trading since my first position was put on in 1979. That's how, well, we had to write out the paper, run it to the window to get go straight to the floor for our orders. And we were paying $100 a round turn. But, with the stocks, in any event, I'm just an experienced guy that realizes that the most messy charts are really a matter of duplicating the same thing over and over. I mean, how many momentum indicators do you use? I use the RSI indicator. I'm going to put in a plug here for HIMA, if you don't mind, HIMA. If you don't have, if you haven't connected with HEMA Ready, I believe it's REDDY. If you haven't collected, this is her stuff down here. This is HEMA is an RSI expert, and find her. She's got some really good free stuff that will entice you to buy this right here. And I don't think this was $200 or $300. I don't think it was inexpensive, but the way she, and I won't go, maybe I will a little bit while we're looking at some charts, but she's the queen of the RSI. Worked for major firms in that capacity. And so if you can get a hold of her stuff. All right, well, let's take a look at what we have right here. I'm not going to draw a lot of lines. I'm just going to talk about what I see. What I have here, this is the 8-bar exponential moving average. Some people call it the golden moving average, so on and so forth. I just find there's a number of them that I use in our trading plan called Loaded Gun. And I'm going to show you the loaded gun. In fact, here is a loaded gun. Right here is the loaded gun signal to buy. Very interesting that we would see it right here right away. And the loaded gun signal, what it is, and I'm going to, I look for it, and it occurs frequently. It's hesitation. This candle right here, it's a spinner, almost a doji, where the open and close are pretty much the same within a very narrow range. When you have this kind of indecision, this is a 5-minute, I'm sorry, this is a daily chart. When you have this kind of indecision in your in a market, followed by a more decisive candle that goes through the moving average, you have something that is worth considering on the downside, because what you're doing is you're changing the flow. If you look at the 8-bar exponential moving average as a kind of a flow indicator, you've got a pretty good chance of moving. I mean, indecision followed by decision through an important EMA here. And look what happened, came all the way down. So what do we have right here? Well, we have a market that that reached a high, of course, back in August, has come all the way down from $10 all the way to $3. I'm not sure what's going on with this company fundamentally, but whatever it is, it hasn't been good. I don't know what arena that it plays in, but this. I imagine that if we put in a Fibonacci retracement here, we would see this at about the 32 level here. So we're at a point here of indecision, and that's exactly why you probably wonder where the heck it's going from here. But we have a pretty good chance of going higher in the near term. It's, this is sideways action. There's really nothing to say here except for watching for a breakout over this $6 level, a close over this $6 level. Looks like we've breached it a couple of times, but never closed. So from a momentum standpoint, I will describe and he will probably shoot me when I talk about this. This green band here and this green band here, it's 80, 90 here and 40, 50 here, okay, on the RSI. When a market, if a market tends to be bullish, what will happen, it will play within these two green lines. In other words, the fact that we're turning here, and we hit some time here, a few days in this band, and now we're heading higher. If the market continues higher, when we get to this band, that's going to be the oversold band. That'll be the end of this run. But a bull market tends to run between these two bands. In a bear market like this, we run, you see we're running, this is the top, the red is for bearish markets. This red band, this red band. And this is the 55, 65, and down here is the 2030, okay? So you can see that once we started going down, from a momentum standpoint, we bottom out here in this area, in this band, and we've been trying to find our way back up into this band ever since. Well, we hit it and came back down into the bullish band and turned around, didn't come down here. So if I was a betting man, and I'm not, well, I guess I am, I would look for a little bit more upside. I'm seeing a very, I like this kind of pattern where you have indecision on a daily basis a few different times, and then all of a sudden you've got a move, a more powerful move through the 8-bar exponential moving average. This would portend a positive next day, of which it looks like it's trying to have today. So I'm modestly bullish, but I wouldn't be taking a trade. If you're in this trade, if you're in this position, hold on. I would hold on to it. I would put my stop under here, under this accumulation, because if we do turn, if all we do is reach this band and come back down, we should be checking this low. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look what Vizu does, or Vuzi does, and I'll comment on. I may be able to comment a little bit more on it if I knew what the company did. But I'm not a fundamentalist. But I do think that this is something that if you're in, hold on, put your stop down here, because this would be a good trade back to the old low, according to the momentum indicators. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Hope that was helpful. Let's look at do commodities too. Remember, Sherry, baby, Sherry. What? Is that not working? SHAR? Doesn't seem to like that. Let's try SRNE. It didn't seem to like SHAR. Maybe I don't have access to it. Okay, this is some kind of therapeutics. Sorrentino, I guess. Sorrentino. Can't read it. It's blocked out by the chart. But this is a sad looking chart right here, and it doesn't look like it's over yet. Wow. I mean, this is a 23-cent stock. I'm not sure what they do, but this is the stock you stay away from. But I think you see what's happening here. We never really reached our momentum. You see, this market right here has been playing between these two red lines, red momentum lines. And every time it comes up, it stops here, comes back down, stops here, comes back down. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And when you're looking at Hima's work, when it comes down to a descending market, this is a real give up here. The thing about I talk a lot to my coaching clients about time. I mean, to sit here and to think that that this thing's coming back anytime soon. Generally, when you have a move like this, you have to go sideways for a while in order to gain some momentum. But you're better off. Listen, we only have so much time when we trade. You're better off spending your time someplace else than what I'm looking at here. I have nothing really more to say than this says it all. I mean, I guess somebody can argue that gaps are always filled, but this one's going to take a while. It may get filled a decade from now. I don't know what this stock does, but I'm going to look up afterwards. It's therapeutics. It's a drug company of some sort. All right, let's take a look at another. QGen. All right. Well, this is you take a look at stocks like this. I mean, charts like this, and it's I mean, you've got a lot of topping action here. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. And you can see that we rode a long time in a resistive area here, where a breakdown in momentum causes a downturn. We've seen that here. well, one, it's not a, it's a cause and effect thing. It's the price that, of course, defines the momentum. But I believe this is a valid signal of which it looks like we're gapping down here. I mean, again, I look at these things in a very basic way. And, you know, you've had an accumulation, you're breaking down the accumulation. We close down here, you've got a pretty good chance at 45. Okay, so you've got a $3 move built in here. You know, we're not, you know, we're looking at this whole thing is $10 between 40 and $50. So, you know, you need to have a pretty good sized position to take advantage of this, where you're not moving, you know, many dollars. It's in this price range. But the idea here is that when you have a breakdown like this, if this stays the way it is, we also have a gap here that is yet to be filled. My guess from a structural standpoint is that we do come down, and we come down quickly because we're starting to get a little bit oversold here. We may have I don't want to go Elliott on you, but we may have a kind of a wave where we come up a little bit and then come back down. But the idea here is that I'm seeing, in general chart terms, I'm seeing a gap that probably should be filled in here. And this would be a good opportunity in that 45 to 46.5 range where this gap is. So I would look to, you know, I think, you know, if we close down here, nothing wrong with an initial short here, where a close above the 8-bar exponential moving average. I like 2 closes above the 8-bar exponential moving average would put me out of this trade on the short side. But until then, I think it's something that you could ride down at least a couple of few dollars. So interesting chart. But I love this. I mean, this topping action is pretty revealing. You know, if this breakdown stays, I mean, we could have another one of these where we came up on the open and all of a sudden we're back down to the moving average. Here, we could start here and come back up. We'll see what's going on. But right now, you know, we stick around here on the close. This is probably a short. I mean, if you're looking to accumulate this stock, if for some reason you have a relative in this company and you want to you know, continue accumulating, I think you could probably get this somewhere in the, certainly at the 45 level, so at 44. But again, it's just a guess. But it's a pretty educated guess from what I'm seeing. Okay, let's see if we've got any other pool. P-O-O-L. I didn't like that either. P-O-O-L. I didn't like that. All right. Pool Corporation. Boy, I hope they're in the pool business. Well, I'm just gonna go a little bit further to the west, to the west, and see where we're. So we've been at 480 fairly recently, even at 560. 580 in fairly recent history. So, I mean, we've come from 580. Don't know what this company does. Again, I'm not a big stock guy. I'm more of a commodities guy. But I mean, when you go from 580 to this area here where we're testing again, we were all the way down below 300. Now we're at 420, or the 390, 379 here after reaching 420. This stuff right here, when you see this takes a lot of work to get back up here. This is an island top. They call it an island top. And here's another one here. This is a much clearer one from the standpoint that you had a lot of, you know, there was a lot of, I'm sure there was a lot of trades that went on here during this breakout. But you can see that it took all this time to surpass this high. Yes, we filled it in quickly, but once we filled in the gap, which is very tough on these island highs, but it did it fairly quickly, and then it exhausted. You know, this market looks lower to me, and it looks lower because we're challenging these tops. We have challenging these highs. We have an island top here, which is again quite extensive. The fact that it's 2 bars, and then I mean, what happened here? We had a close here on this day, and then all of a sudden some news or something came out, and boom, we had a big. But then the market digested. It didn't collapse. Waited till it closed, and then waited till the next day to come back down from whence it came. And then ever since then, we've been on the south side of the golden moving average, the 8-bar exponential moving average. You can see how well it adhered to that 8-bar all the way up. You can see on the way down how it adhered to the bottom side of that. You can see here that that we stayed on the bottom. We stayed south of the moving average until we crossed it here. We had, I'm going to call it an island top because I've been using that. But, you know, again, so when we seem to have shifted here, I mean, this is a signal of shift when you have an island top here. And the fact that we tried to get over it, this is a pretty strong positive indicator. And when it fails, if this fails, when you have this indecision, same thing as I talked about, this is the loaded gun trigger. This is the indecision. In fact, 3 candles of indecision. Indecision meaning the bodies are very small, because the Japanese don't care about the Japanese. The Japanese farmers who invented, who came up with candle charting 400 or 500 years ago, I think it was, corn farm. You're talking about. They believe that there are only 2 important times from a charting standpoint when you're looking at price, and that's the open and the close. Everything else is noise. And when you have spinners like this, indecision followed by a strong move through this moving average that I use. Now, I don't, you know, there are several moving averages. I'm just showing you one today. And you cross through. This is a very positive signal. Now, we could very well end up today a good job, but if we fail here and we take out this low, you know, we'll see the 345 level, 350 level, which is what we look like we have right here. You know, the 349, 350, 353, 51. Right in this area, this is 351. So 352 is where it looks like easy street. If we fail this, if we don't go up today or tomorrow, if we don't get back over the 8-bar exponential moving average today or tomorrow, I'd be looking for some downside. You know, and again, you know, I don't know what's going on with this corporation, but you know, they've been under pressure for a long time. You know, from 580, when you lose 40% of your value. So one good thing about this, about believing in the upside if you're an owner here, is that you see we're playing more in this arena here, in the bullish, where the bullish momentum goes from here to here. You see how it went from here to here, where the price was nice and ascending, and then we come back down. If we stop here, if whatever action comes here and we stay in this area here, this momentum will likely hit in this defending area for a bullish market. In other words, this is kind of the backstop on the downside, and then we start moving up on the momentum. You can see this thing at least try to take out this gap here. But you know, when you're looking at different indicators in the market, and there's so many. Listen, there's enough indicators that you could talk yourself into anything. But my experience is that when you see this, you don't want to. You have to honor it. And I've been looking for lower markets here, even though the trigger is here that I like on the short term, and even though you know, the momentum suggests that maybe we'll bottom out the next time we test the bottom of this, whatever range this is we're trying to form. I think you're best off looking for some south side or going elsewhere. This is that's all I'll say about it. But I think this is the dominant feature, and you know, only time will tell if I'm right about that. Okay. AI smart glasses for all kinds of application. Oh, that's pretty cool. Which one was that, Silver? That was that was SRNE. Is that S? I'm going to try that one more time. SRNE. Oh, got it that time. Did we look at this already? Yeah, we did already. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, whatever, they need a new pair of glasses. Cool. Let's see what we've got another INPX. INPX. Let's see. Another. I mean, why do these people have names that you can Pixon? Pixon. Okay. Wow. I mean, why would you, unless you had a relative in this? This almost looks like the Mad Men chart. Now, I will say something about this, that a chart like this, that always kind of interested me from a percentage standpoint. I mean, let me just comment on the chart. I mean, every time you get a pop of good news, it continues to snap back to reality. And you know, here's a oh, that's the Smart Glasses Corporation. Gotcha. Oh, Vizzy, yeah, that makes sense. Vuzi, yeah. This right here, this is, I'm going to call it, it's small compared to this. So when you look at the two, again, this is when you come through the moving average like this, after a hesitating day, and then this was a breakout day that had the opening close fairly close compared to the range of the day, and then a total give up, which led, and look what this thing led to. Look, went from $4 to $1.33. The thing about these kinds of charts, and I think it's worth saying that if this market goes from 133 of its current price, you know, to $2 or to 163. I mean, these are huge percentage moves. I mean, you wouldn't put a lot of money in that. I mean, if you did, you'd make a lot of money if it, but again, it could easily go to 33 cents, this kind of market. So there's a lot of people that that like markets like this. I don't. But I mean, not only are you seeing this kind of downside, but there's very little interest, very little volume, and you can see here that you know, again, the red lines. This is where the bottom red line here is where you get oversold when you're in a downward momentum, and where you get overbought up here in between 65 and 55 and 65 on the RSI. So you know, then you hit the bottom here again, and it looks like we're about to reach the maximum. I mean, I think if there was any trading here, if you could see 150, it'd be a great place to short this market. But again, you can't short a market 150 goes to $3, you get killed. So I don't know what to say about this except for stay away. I mean, there's nothing really much more to say about it. It's not the kind of chart that one usually trades. ZB and INPX. Is that what I just did here? ZB. So you're looking at the bonds, if I'm not mistaken. Now you're in my territory here. Now you're playing my game. All right. Here's ZB right here, and this is the 5-minute chart. We probably want to do the daily. What time frame do you want me to look at here, Silver? Do you want the longer term time frame? Yeah, we probably do. Let's look at there. All right. All right, let's take a look here. Interesting. You can. I'm going to take out this 34, something that we use in our loaded gun. It's really kind of a guardrail. In other words, well, I won't even go through that here, but let's just take that out. All right. Well, everybody knows about the bonds, right? I mean, everybody knows bonds are going lower. This bond chart is interest rates move higher. Here you had your initial, sadness as far as increasing rates and inflation and horrible thoughts. And now you're kind of going sideways. But well, we have a range. Okay, you got a range right at this 32.5 level, and right here at the 20, about the 124 level, and you're going sideways because now the market is getting some. Listen, if you look at CNBC out of one of your eyes when you trade. You know that that every other report gives you the other way of looking at it. In other words, when you look at the consumer price index, it's a little bit bearish for the for rates, and if you look at certain inflation indicators, it's the other way. So we're right in the middle of a soft landing, hard landing, no landing, and this chart is showing that confusion here. You see this right here. This is the loaded gun. This is a loaded gun negative signal. Okay, you have a indecision, the body again, and even the tail tested this high, followed by a movement through the 8-bar exponential moving average. Now you have a market that is moving lower. So it's following my particular way of looking at things, and if I was trading this, I think I did get a little bit the other day. 130 here, 130. We're already down to 125. So this was kind of easy money. But now we're at this level here. What happens? I mean, it's anybody's guess. I would imagine though that, and I hate to imagine, but I'm going to imagine for you. I imagine that we're testing this level right now. So based on the momentum indicators down here, we're getting a little bit, no, we're not oversold yet. It's certainly not at 38. But when we come down here, we'll be more in the 35, 30 area. This could be an area where we turn around and go higher, at least to the midpoint of this range. So this is, you can't short it here. You can't buy it here. You can't do anything here until the market tells you what it wants to do. Here's another indicator right here where we had indecision on one side of the moving average and then a big bar through that moving average. And look at the result. Okay, so when I say that, and here's again the loaded gun signal. Here's another loaded gun signal. Okay, small body, big body through the 8, and look at this. Now you would have been a little scared here, but the market rode nicely even in that particular situation. Here's another signal. So this is a very consistent thing. This is why I built the trading plan around loaded gun. It's got a lot of other facets and so on. And I don't want you to go trading just because you see these signals, but it's the first indication that we may be on a major turn. So what I would be looking for here is the market to move lower, to give a complete test of what's going on here. I mean, we're right here really right now. So maybe we move another 100 basis points down, or we go to the 125 level. But right here is where we want to see some sort of a turnaround. We want to see something like this, only on the upside. Okay. And now that only always work. Here's a signal right here that did not work. So there's times that work and times that it doesn't work. Okay. So we have this is a northerly signal that we in our system wouldn't have taken this because we're against a double high here. But I'm just saying, don't go using what I'm saying just carte blanche. It's everything's in an environment. But right here, I think I'd be looking for a turnaround here back to higher levels, but to at least the mid-range. Mid-range is very important in the science of trading. And generally, when the market attempts to make a new high or test the high, that midpoint is usually pretty easy ground. Okay. Let's see if I've got other. I think the ZN is going to give us the same thing, I'm sure. I'm just going to reduce this. And let's go back to these stock chart. This would be RIO. This is TradeStation. I have my stocks on TradeStation and the other on my commodities I trade on Ninja Trader. Okay, Rio Tinto. Rio Tinto. Well, I can say that this doesn't look like a highly volumed stock, you know, judging by the choppiness of this and the fact that I have very few tails with any kind of length. The highs and lows of it seems very predictable. Well, okay, I'm just going to say right now, I would be bullish on this stock, and here's why. Here's why. You've got a nice move to the upside. Okay, you had a change of direction here. We're testing this the breakout from a recent high. I mean, we made a high, we went sideways, we accumulated, and then we continued higher. Now we're checking that breakout point, and we've got here, but we're doing it here, right in an area where momentum is telling us that we have a high likelihood of a turnaround to the upside if we get our price signal. You can see it's just starting to. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row where the close of the day is higher than the open of the day. Okay, that's telling you that there is a push to the upside, at least without confirmation so far. We remain on the south side right now of the moving average, but the fact that we're accumulating, look what happened last time we accumulated here. We took off. And we almost reached the top here. Would have liked to have seen it in the green, but we've come down. We're now in the defensive area of bullish moves, and I would be fairly confident with a close over the 8 here that you would see a much enjoyed $5 or $6 to test the recent high. So this is really the first chart that I see that I have a fairly clear opinion on. Seems to be following all of the. I appreciate your info. I'm not trading any of those that you've analyzed. Okay, well, that's all right. Hopefully what I'm saying here is a way for you to look at charts. Again, I look at them in a very basic way. I always undertrade. I always take on. I can always take on more positions if I wanted to. In other words, whenever I'm in a position, I can always have more. I never say I'm at my limit, because that's where the mental and emotional conflicts come in when you push yourself too hard. Listen, there's plenty of leverage if you're using options, if you're using futures. There's plenty of leverage, and you'd be surprised what leverage can do for you from a standpoint of making you some good money. So you don't need big positions to really benefit. And again, as you become a more experienced trader, you can expand that a little bit more. But to this day, after 4 decades of trading, I would rather be under invested than over invested, because it seems like every time I would get too many positions on, those would be bad days for me. Because when you believe too much in something, that can hurt you. Anyway, just want to, let's see, very thorough in your analysis of the market. Thank you. Well, I'm thorough from a very basic standpoint. I want to show you a stock that I think is actually fairly interesting. I've been looking at this stock for since my career started, because I started in gold and silver. This is American South African, ASA. This is the this was like the major stock in the gold industry for years, for decades. I'm not sure it is anymore, but I think that you got to be paying attention to gold and silver, okay? And I say that for a number of reasons. One is that there's a lot of international conflicts going on, of course, not only Ukraine, but there are things out there like situations like Taiwan and other situations where you can, besides the Russian situation, that you could easily see bumps, big bumps in the upside in the gold market and silver market. It's to say nothing about lingering inflation and so on and so forth. So I think that gold is a great place to be, and you can see, look at some really nice nice action here. We've had a nice double bottom, led to a nice run up, and now we're correcting right here in this area here where we've accumulated before. And so I mean, there's nothing really much to say about. I just want to give you ASA, because ASA has been around a long time. Really like that. Let's look at Homestead. It's still trade that under that symbol. Hang here. Maybe not. All right. Let's see if do we have any other, or we can take a look at some gold charts, some other charts. Anybody else have any thoughts on where you'd like me to check out here? I mean, GDX. Okay. Van Eck Vectors Gold. Oh, all right. Man of my heart. Thank you. Thank you there, Harshu. Interesting. This is a similar accumulation to what we saw in ASA. Same area, same test. So we're in a critical area here. I mean, it's not unusual. People, we're still confused about where inflation is going, and when you look at when you talk about gold, you got to talk about growth of money, inflation, and right now we're in an area where it'd be nice to watch. I mean, we're getting oversold here in an area where we haven't really come down, to the depths where we were back in October, November, and so my guess from what the dive we're seeing right here is that we should hold this area in the 20. We should hold the 27 area, and in looking for the 27 area, I would be looking for this kind of where you have a small body on one side of the 8, and then boom, you have a move that confirms possible upside, of which it did happen. So this is an interesting encompassing pattern. It's something that we use also in the loaded gun, and you can see where it led to some downside. So rather than guessing how far it's going to go here, if I was not in this, I would look to be in this on the long side. After seeing the market give us maybe a little bit of sideways action, with look at all these small bodies. I want to see a nice body on the north side through this moving average, and I would be a taker of that position on the long side for several reasons. Momentum has seems to have bottomed out, and there's no place to go but up. But don't be fooled about that either. I've seen these things drag on the lower side, so nothing is forever. But again, if you see indecision followed by a decision through the moving average, I would be taking that on the long side. Hey, thanks for bringing this up. GDX, I forgot all about that one. EAAS. Pasodoble. Are you a dancer? No, silver. Okay. All right. I got you guys going. Well, it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm looking in the same period of time where you had the sideways accumulation. The market is testing this. Now, silver, when you're looking at the precious metals, I mean, it used to be that platinum was superior to all of them from the standpoint of price. Platinum was, I think, in 1980, when my first few months in the business, when gold reached $8.50. Silver reached $50 and platinum reached $1,500. Well, that's not the case anymore. Platinum, last time I looked at it, was below the price of gold. But the gold-silver ratio is still out of whack when it comes to the price of silver. I mean, if you look at the old 50 to 1 or whatever. But, you know, silver has a little bit more bounce for the buck. So interesting that we'll be looking at this chart. Let's look at my loaded gun way of looking at it. Here's a couple of small bodies followed by some crazy move on the downside on the other side. But, you know, people say, hell, look at all this risk. And yeah, I probably wouldn't have taken this trade because there's a lot of risk. But it did follow through nicely. So it's a pretty good indicator. Here's one that didn't work out. The thing I like about these kinds of indicators, when they don't work out, you have a short risk. When they do work out, a lot of the times you're going to get these kinds of runs. So again, same thing here. I would be looking for the market to hold here above the 15.5 level, $15.50. And then I would be looking for a signal to go long. You want to go long this market if you can. I mean, there's a lot of energy here. Base building, we took off, we've corrected that. I like it. And we're coming down in see what happens when we get into this range. You're not all the time, but right here, once you're in the red, kind of names a bottom. This didn't even get there. This didn't get there. And so every time you're in this oversold area, it's not that oversold 20 to 30. It could be even worse, but we're now approaching that area. I really would be looking for a long position here once I got a trigger. Okay, and I've shown you a couple of. Let's look at more of your something, if you don't mind. I don't know what that is. Sugar Shack. Oh baby, do that Sugar Shack. Oh, is this Sugar Shack? No, this is Shake Shack. This is that hamburger place. I walked into this place, Shake Shack. It was huge inside, and they had like weird burgers. I think they even had one of the Japanese type burgers. And there was a line out the door. I don't know. It's kind of a fast food place with a little bump to it. But everybody seemed to be having a good time. And, you know, this has been a $10 range for 6 months. And it looks like we're between 45 and 55 here. 40, yeah, in this range here. We've had a couple of blips around it. Here's that signal again that I talked about, ready? Right? Couple of small bodies, big body through there. And look at this nice move. We have another, it doesn't always work out. Look at here. The problem is this isn't a clear signal. There's a lot to say about this signal that I'm not telling you. In fact, this looks like a signal, but it's not. In any event, but I will tell you when it's clear here. But look what happened here. You came all the way down. Apparently there was some news or something. I guess earnings came out. And it failed to impress, and then came right back because they feel it's a pretty good operation. So the bottom line must be pretty good. I really like the fact that we're staying over. We broke out over this level, the previous high, and now when we've come down now, and we're playing around with that level here. This is a market that I think could go higher. If we do have a recession, or if we're not already in a recession, or if we're thinking about having a recession, or if it's a soft landing or a hard landing or a tough landing, whatever landing it is, fast food does well. The chart is telling us that. And this right here, when you see a market give a shot like this, I mean, it's just taking out all these stops. Everybody who bought here and put a stop under here, you're all out of it, right? I mean, you really got to watch that as a trader. They're not standing there looking at your stops, but everybody, most traders, especially new traders, will throw in their stops right under here, and seasoned traders also. It's just that we can tend to get right back in if it stops back. But I'm saying here that this wiped out all of the potential, not all of the, but a lot of the potential short periods. I mean, once this thing started to go, it opened here, probably the earnings came out or whatever happened to this stock. We drove it down, took all these stops out here, and then took out the stops under here, and then snapped right back today, and looks like it may very well close back over the 8. So I would look for upside here. If it did close back over the 8, I think I could go long in this stock right now. It's giving me enough. There's not a whole lot of risk. I think you'd have to have your risk back in this area. So you're looking at about a $3 risk, a $4 risk. So again, you want to position sizing. I did a class the other day on position sizing because I feel position sizing is probably the most underappreciated, under talked about element of trading. Okay, go light. Okay, there's a lot of reasons, and I've just mentioned several of them, to believe that this kind of action, and what we're seeing here as far as holding above these highs, that we could go higher. So, but it's not an A+ trade. So go light. But I think it may be worth a shot. I like this chart. Thanks for showing that to me. GDS. Let's see if I think we have time for 1 or 2 more. ZF and ZL, are these more, I'm going to, it sounds like more of a bond thing that you were doing with me. Let's see, ZF, yeah, this is the 5-year note. Yeah, well, you're the only guy trading this that I know. But look at this, and this is why I love futures. I think the charts tend to be a little clearer. Now, of course, this is a. But look at this. Here's that signal I talked about. Here's a signal I talked about, and then look at this. Here's a losing form of that signal. Okay, go higher, didn't work out. You took this loss here, but here's a reversal pattern. Actually, you wouldn't have taken the loss. You would have reversed here and taken this loss. Another, but look here, just on the downside. Well, again, this is what do I think? I think we're we're likely heading to that 106 area here. I mean, we're very close to it already. In general, many times a market will never get to the total test. So a lot of new traders, they'll be looking for to test down in this area. Okay, but we're almost there. This is a test of here, maybe a little bit lower, and that's it. Again, but I would be looking for some sort of upside on here. I do think that it's pretty. I'm pretty convinced that we have a couple of more 25-point increases coming from the Fed, and I think that's already in the market. So, but be interesting to see what happens here. But right now, I don't see a trade here other than holding on. I would hold on to the short position until I got a trigger to go the other way. What's ZL? Is that another ZL? Oh, soybean oil. I guess I'm not going to see it on this chart. Maybe I am. Yeah, I guess, yeah, this is soybean oil. I'll just give you this one. This will kind of wrap it up for me. I'd be a buyer. I would be a buyer. Look, you got this accumulation, you got this accumulation. We've tested 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a modified version of the single I like. We have follow through here. You could draw a simple ray here where we're dealing with the tops, and you can see here that we've got a nice breakout here, like this chart, and but I'm not sure of, you have a number. When I go long like this, you got 1, 2, 3. you got 3 areas of resistance. You have lower highs here. These are now areas of resistance. So I'm not sure of the potential here. You got a few cents. A few cents here. Whatever ZL is that? What did we say it was? Soybean oil. Okay. Funny, I haven't traded this in a long time. Okay, I just want to show you one last thing. Appreciate your time here today. If any of this interested you, or the way I look at things and the way I analyze, again, I'm into the helping traders with the mental and emotional part of their trading. Okay, and the important part, and that's important if you're going to be funded by one of these prop firms. So I want to make sure that you get my book right here, Their Money, Your Profits, the pros and cons of prop trading. Okay, Their Money, Your Profit. It gives you the pros and cons. Just access, and you'll be on my list. You can opt out at any time, and I give you some ideas of what to trade. But I also give you my my thinking about loaded gun and how to pass these tests using. That's the way I passed. I've already passed. I'm already been funded for 150,000 and 50,000, and I'm now halfway through my $250,000 testing. I want to show you how I'm doing it through loaded gun. So the last thing I want to do is show you this, so that if you have a scanner, you can get right to this page without having to type the disciplinetrader.com/prop win. You may want to put that in there if you haven't already, David. Hey, seek and you shall find, and David's always there for me. Anyway, if you're into scanning there, just scan it. It'll bring you to this page. Love to talk to you about this. This is my latest passion, especially because a lot of people on my list, you know, they have small accounts, 5,000, 10,000. Why not show your skills and trade 50, 150, 250,000? It's doable. I'm doing it. You can do it. I can show you how I did it. All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate everybody and seeing my basic points of view here. But I think basics is what works in analysis. And every time you start to get too flowery, you start talking yourself out of things. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much.